What if I told you your loved ones might not be gone at all? Arthur Ford once said, "There is no death, only a change of worlds." Pretty bold statement, right? Now, I know what you're thinking, Arthur. Ford was a medium, a spiritualist, a man people either called a genius or a complete fraud. But here's the twist. Buried inside his strange revelations are clues that match up with actual ancient discoveries. Stick with me here, because this is not just some woo-woo ghost story. We're talking about artifacts, science, and even ancient engineering that seems to suggest humanity may have once built devices to track where the soul goes after death. Yeah, I know. Sounds insane. But by the end of this video, you might find yourself saying, wait a minute, what if he was right? So grab a seat, because we're about to connect Ford's mysterious words with some of the most mind-blowing archaeological finds in history. The legend folklore when Arthur Ford spoke about the dead not being gone, but simply existing in another world. It wasn't an idea born in the 20th century. In fact, cultures for thousands of years carried eerily similar beliefs. Think about ancient Egypt. The Book of the Dead wasn't just a text, it was like a manual for the soul, a travel guide to navigate the afterlife. Pharaohs were buried with maps, spells, and instructions because they believed if you didn't know the route, you could get lost forever. Now, here's where it gets spooky. In ancient Greece, archaeologists found tiny gold tablets called Orphic tablets buried with the dead. On them were engraved directions, passwords, and cosmic codes to guide the soul to the right place after death. Almost like a boarding pass to another dimension. Audience reaction: wait, hold on. They literally gave the dead a ticket to the afterlife. Exactly. And it didn't stop there. In shamanic traditions, especially among the indigenous peoples of Siberia and Central Asia, a shaman spoke of soul journeys where they would travel to other realms, using rhythmic drumming or trance states and bring back messages, sounds. A lot like Ford claiming to communicate with the other side, doesn't it? Now, imagine this. What if all of these cultures weren't just writing poetry or mythology? What if they were describing a real system, a kind of universal roadmap? And here's the kicker. What if they even tried to build devices to track or connect to it? Because as unbelievable as that sounds, that's where the story takes us next. The discovery, all right. So here's where things stop sounding like legend and start sounding like archaeology. In 1901, divers off the coast of the Greek island Antikythera pulled up what looked like a corroded lump of bronze. Nothing special at first glance, but when scientists examined it decades later, they realized it was actually an ancient mechanical computer gears, dials, inscriptions. Today, we call it the Antikythera Mechanism. It could predict eclipses, track planets, and map the heavens with unbelievable accuracy, all made over 2,000 years ago. And that's just the beginning. Fast forward to more recent discoveries. Archaeologists in Mesopotamia uncovered what some researchers describe as astral charts etched into clay tablets, perfectly aligned with constellations. In South America, mysterious golden artifacts shaped like compasses were found in burial sites. And in Egypt, tomb excavations revealed strange objects with gears and inscriptions, theorized by some fringe researchers to be soul compasses designed not to navigate oceans, but to help souls navigate the afterlife. Now, here's the wild part. Some of these devices appear to have inscriptions that resemble maps of the stars at the exact moment of the person's death. Imagine being buried with a personalized cosmic GPS, helping your soul find the right frequency to move on. Arthur Ford claimed our loved ones aren't lost, they've simply shifted into another frequency of existence. And suddenly, archaeology hands us evidence that ancient civilizations may have believed the exact same thing and built tools to interact with it. But the real bombshell comes when scientists put these artifacts under the microscope. Because what they discovered made them stop and say, wait a second, this isn't supposed to exist. Scientific analysis. So once these mysterious devices were brought into labs, researchers didn't expect much. Maybe they'd confirmed the artifacts were just decorative or ceremonial. But what they found? That's where the jaw-drop moment begins. Take the Antikythera Mechanism. Using X-ray imaging, scientists at University College London, Freeth et al. Nature. 2006 revealed over 30 bronze gears inside. Some no bigger than a coin's edge, perfectly interlocked. This thing worked like a cosmic clock predicting eclipses, planetary alignments, even the phases of the moon. And it wasn't just Greece. In Mesopotamian star maps, researchers noticed precise astronomical data alignments of Jupiter, Mars and Saturn accurate to within fractions of a degree. That's the kind of accuracy we only achieved with modern telescopes. How on earth did they do that with chisels and clay? Now, here's where it gets eerie. Some of the so-called soul compass artifacts found in Egypt and South America. When analyzed, the metals weren't random. Tests revealed magnetite, hematite, and even traces of lodestone minerals known to react with Earth's magnetic field. Imagine this. Instead of pointing north like a sailor's compass, these devices may have been calibrated to point toward a celestial alignment, kind of spiritual North Star. Ancient engineers literally building tools to guide the soul, not the body. And here's the kicker. Some inscriptions on these devices reference gates or portals that open when planets align. That lines up almost word for word with Arthur Ford's claim that our loved ones pass into another frequency that overlaps with our world only at certain times. So let's pause here. We have ancient legends describing maps for the soul, archaeological finds of real devices buried with the dead, scientific tests showing these weren't toys, they were functional, precise, and maybe even magnetic. Audience reaction: this can't just be coincidence. Then what were they really for? That, my friend, is where things get truly astonishing. The astonishment factor. Okay, so let's step back for a second. We've got ancient civilizations crafting devices so advanced they look like something out of a sci-fi movie. Gears, magnetic minerals, inscriptions about gates and journeys. This isn't random, it's intentional. Here's the million-dollar question. Why? If you're an ancient farmer, you don't need a machine that tracks eclipses 100 years in the future. If you're a fisherman, you don't need a soul compass. These things weren't built for everyday survival. They were built for something far bigger, or at least to guide them. Imagine you lose someone you love. Today, we hold funerals, light candles, say prayers. But what if, 2,000 years ago, people actually engineered tools to ensure their loved ones made it safely to the other side? And this is where Ford's revelation slams right into archaeology like a lightning bolt. Remember, he said, there is no death, only a change of worlds. Ancient cultures might have agreed in, then gone one step further by trying to map that change. Now think about this. Modern quantum physics talks about multiple dimensions, frequencies of reality, even particles that can exist in two places at once. Doesn't that sound hauntingly similar to what Ford described? And what ancient devices might have been pointing toward? These discoveries blur the line between myth, religion, and hard science. They suggest the ancients weren't just telling ghost stories, they might have been experimenting with something real. Something we've only begun to rediscover. So here it is. The astonishing truth may be that our loved ones don't vanish. They don't end. They simply step into a frequency mapped long ago by people who knew far more than we give them credit for. And now, are you ready for the part that gave even the scientists goosebumps? Because what they uncovered next is the climax of this entire story. The revelations. So picture this. Scientists studying one of these so-called soul compasses in Egypt noticed something odd. Under scanning electron microscopes, They found patterns etched so small they weren't visible to the naked eye. These weren't random scratches. They were micro-engraved star charts maps of constellations that shift exactly as they would appear at the moment of the owner's death. It's as if the ancients believed the soul needed a personalized cosmic coordinate frequency, key to unlock the gate to the next world now. Here's the kicker. When researchers digitally reconstructed one of these maps, they noticed something chilling. The star alignment wasn't just accurate, it matched a rare astronomical event, an alignment of planets that occurs only once every few thousand years, almost like a scheduled opening. And if that sounds familiar, it should. Arthur Ford insisted that spirits could only communicate during certain frequencies, moments when the veil between worlds was thin. The ancients, it seems, believed the same thing and even built technology to pinpoint those cosmic moments. Now, here's the part that'll give you goosebumps. One of the researchers reportedly said, "It's like holding a device designed not for the living, but for the dead." Think about that. For thousands of years, humans may have been building not just monuments, not just temples, but actual machines for the afterlife. And if that's true, then maybe Ford wasn't crazy. After all, maybe our loved ones really are still alive, just not here. So let's rewind for a second. We started with a bold claim from Arthur Ford. There is no death, only a change of worlds. And then we walked through the myths, the artifacts, the scientific tests, and found ourselves staring at ancient devices that seemed to do exactly what Ford described: map the journey of the soul. That's the part that gives me chills. Across cultures, across centuries, people weren't just imagining the afterlife. They were engineering ways to interact with it. And when modern science looks at these tools, they're forced to admit this shouldn't exist, but it does. And hey, if this video blew your mind, you're going to love what's coming next. We're diving into the lost crystal libraries of Atlantisand. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like and ring the bell so you'll know the second the next mystery drops. Because history isn't just about the past. Sometimes it's about the secrets we're only now starting to remember.